You see, I'm what you'd call an unremarkable nobody. Like a hedgehog, I mind my own business and couldn't care less about the rest, about as much as I care for the year 2080. I have no particular talents, except one, dreaming. I dream full-time, without respite. I dream non-stop. Dreaming isn't a profession, some might say, but to me it is. The other day, my face wrapped up, thanks to COVID-19, I was waiting outside the post office, standing in line. In front of me stood a ragged woman of indeterminate age, constantly turning around every 2 minutes to shoot me dagger-like glances. She probably thought I was checking out her backside. She was ugly, so ugly she could send a horde of little devils running for the hills. Me? I was elsewhere, lost in my thoughts. I was in Spain, sharing glasses of Chianti with the divine Laetitia Casta, stealing kisses between sips. For some unknown reason, my mind flicked to another channel. Suddenly, I was Dr. Ivo Pitangi, and in front of me, stark naked on the operating table, lay this unfortunate, unattractive woman. I saw myself performing a facelift, watched her transform into a cinematic beauty, Deepika Padukone perhaps. Her rigid, bitter expression melted away as if by magic, replaced by a radiant, generous smile. "You're nothing but a jackass, with big ears," a woman's furious voice spat behind me. Before I could turn around, bam! A tiny woman in a hijab on top and distressed jeans below smacked a towering mustachioed man with a slap so loud it could have echoed all the way to Hiroshima. Before anyone could make sense of what was happening, the little woman snapped at us with disdain. "Never seen a lover's quarrel before, you bunch of buffoons." Ignoring the barrage of insults hurled her way, she grabbed the mustachioed man, apparently her husband, by the ear and ordered him to walk ahead, warning him that if he didn't, she'd cause a scene worthy of the evening news. The brute obeyed without a word. As for me, drifting between two worlds, I was forced, by some unknown force yet again, to bid farewell to the sizzling Laetitia Casta and step into the shoes of Walter Mitty, the protagonist from James Thurber's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I cautiously approached a large mirror and saw staring back at me a man in a tweed suit, top hat perched on his head, pipe clenched between his teeth. My God! It's Sherlock Holmes. Yes, you've got it. I am Sherlock Holmes. A crime against the mustachioed man had taken place. I had been summoned to solve it. Without my trusted friend, Dr. Watson, I relied solely on my instincts and knowledge of the human soul. After much shadowing and surveillance, I uncovered the truth. The mustachioed husband was, in fact, a kind and timid schoolteacher. Apart from his students, whom he adored, and who adored him in return, he had no friends. I took a liking to him immediately. He reminded me of Lenny Small from John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. His wife, however, was another story, a real wolf in sheep's clothing, prim and proper on the surface, yet secretly depraved. As it turned out, she had a visceral love for sadomasochistic practices, cruel as could be with her husband, yet docile and devoted to her lover, who would drip hot wax onto her chest and lower belly. Disgusted by the abuse she inflicted on the gentle schoolteacher, I found myself, once again, against my will, slipping into the skin of Harvey Keitel, playing Judas in Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. And like Judas did to Christ, I betrayed her without the slightest hesitation. I turned her in to the police for adultery. Lenny Small, outraged. Lenny Small, broken. Lenny Small, tormented. But Lenny Small, liberated, to parody General de Gaulle. Just as I was about to step through the post office doors, I saw a frail old man shoved aside by a rude security guard. He stumbled, nearly falling at my feet. As I bent down to help him, he suddenly burst into tears, choking on his sobs as he cried out, "Oh Lord in heaven, where are you? Don't you see how they treat us like worthless old rags?" At that moment, my mind spun like a top. My imagination spread its wings, and even with my eyes wide open, I saw myself as the king's closest advisor. But me? I'm just a dreamer. As for what I would undertake in that role, well, that's a story for another time.